Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport and my beautiful wife Sarah is going to pick up Mr. Clyde. Dad headed home from North Dakota last night. Went to church this morning and had breakfast with my brother Stevie and his beautiful girlfriend Roz. And he likes my stories or my truths. And but this is I had to do the one with this one with my wife here. I know she didn't like this story, but she's the only one.
Why are you telling?
Because you wouldn't believe it unless, if I were just to tell you the story without a witness, somebody would be like, yeah, really, that happened? So years ago I was yeah, you're a witness. And so years ago I was over near Seattle, Washington, picked up a load of lumber, and I told the people, I'm like, this seems pretty light, man. Are you sure this is? Yep, that's it. So I leave, got a tarp to load, leave. I end up in North Bend, Washington, and the broker calls me and says, Kurt, you were right. They underloaded you, so they gave us more money to go back. And so I turned around, went back, picked up. So now I'm heading back on I-5, I think it was, out of Seattle, and I shut down at a rest area.
That's the story you're telling.
That's my wife does not like this story, but she can confirm this actually happened.
Why would you even tell that story?
Because Stevie K loves loves my stories. So, anyways, I was in a different truck, and I had our company name on it, Time Machine Transport. And I'm at this rest area, and there's my truck and some other trucks in there, but not every space has a truck in it. So it's my truck, a couple empty spaces, another truck, so on and so on. My wife and I were just dating at the time, and this was several years ago. And so anyways, I'm talking to Sarah, and I'm eating a bowl of ramen. And it's super cold. It had been raining out all day. It's dark.
Not the ramen, the weather.
Yeah, the weather. And so I was, talking to her while I was eating or whatever. And then there were people walking into the rest area or whatever. Not paying any attention to it. And all of a sudden, I'm talking to Sarah. I'm putting my bowl away and stuff. And I'm standing up. And I look down in through the passenger window down into the lot, and there's a car right next to my truck, and the inside light's on, and it's raining still, so I can't really, I just see a person and the inside light is on, and I see the person sitting in the driver's seat, and their leg is thrown. It was like a four-door Lexus. It was a decent car, but it had a sunroof as well. And as I'm looking down, talking to my wife, I'm like, this is odd. Like, there's this dude right next to the truck, and I don't know, I could see down in there, but he's sitting in the driver's side, but his leg is like over the console, and his left or his right foot and leg are over in the passenger area, but his foot is up on the dash. And it's got a white sock on it, but like legs, just smooth legs with a sock on it. So I tell my wife, I'm like, this is fucking odd. I'm like, there's this dude in here, and he's like just sitting there with his light on, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna call the police. So I said I'll call her back, and so I call 911, and I tell them the situation. I'm like, this is kind of weird, blah, blah, blah. So did we take 31 or just keep going? And, oh, yeah, we got to go down by the McDonald's, right? Or near there. So I tell them, what, about the car and the guy sitting in it and all this stuff. And so I call Sarah, and I let her know. I see, they're sending highway patrol over. And so as I'm talking to Sarah, the car kind of pulls away. And then the operator or the dispatcher calls me and says, hey, the police want to come over and have you fill out a witness statement. Huh?
She called you.
Yeah, no, that happened. No, she didn't call me. She texted me.
Yeah.
And so anyways, so she says, can you like flash your lights so the police officers know which truck you're in? I'm like, sure, absolutely. And so I do, get out of the truck, cop walks over to me, and as I get to the front of the truck, I can see there's like 3 or 4 squads down by like the on-ramp or the off-ramp, whatever, by the rest area. And he's like, hey, he said, would you fill us out for us? I'm like, sure. And he's like, so can you tell me what happened? So I tell him, and I tell him, the guy sitting next to my truck, and I said I was concerned maybe, he's some sort of weirdo or whatever. And the cop says, well, would it surprise you if I told you it was a female? And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, the person's a female. I'm like, oh, okay. So I fill out the witness statement, give it to the police officer. They leave, and I call Sarah and I tell her what had happened. And I said, well, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, they said it was a woman. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. Anyways, say goodnight to her. And while I was on the phone with Sarah, I heard my phone ding like I got a message. And so I look at my text messages, and the reason why I'm telling this story, because my buddy Stevie, hey brother, love you. He loves to hear these stories. And so I screenshot the text, and it's from this woman that obviously was in the car. And she texts me, and she says, hi, I'm sitting next to your truck in the car, and I'm playing with my PUSSY. And I'm like,
even tell this damn story?
because I know. So anyways, so then I forward this over to Sarah, and Sarah is fucking, do I take a lift here? Mm-hmm. Sarah is fucking livid. And she's like, how would she have gotten your number? Because we don't have the phone number on the truck. And I'm like, the only way she could have gotten my number was from Google. So, I like that Jeep. That's sharp. Those old CJ7s. And so she says, I said, well, let me check. So I Googled Time Machine Transport, and sure enough, our shop address comes up and my cell phone number comes up. And Sarah was like, I'm going to call this bitch. Did you ever call her? Did you?
Yeah, but it didn't.
Oh, it didn't go through? Oh. See, my wife, that's why I had to fucking tell a story with my wife here, because I know she'd be pissed. Anyway, so there's a story from my brother right here.
No.
Next one. Anyways, if I told that story without my wife acknowledging it, people are like, yeah, right, that actually happened to you. There's some weird shit that happens in truck driving, and people don't believe. Next one or this one?
This one.
People don't believe the stuff that goes on in a truck, and people automatically think it's some sort of driver, doing this or whatever the case is. And it's probably 9 times out of 10, it's not the semi driver. It is the public, I mean, it's for accidents and for everything. So it's just one of those things that you look at it like, semi driving it's very dangerous, and you can.
There are a lot of whores out there.
And there's a lot of whores out there. I'll have to tell you about the time that my wife and I were in the truck together down in Houston. She had bought a car, and I know I'm going to turn around. And I just don't want to pull in these people's driveway. People get offended with that. And Sarah and I, so we caught a load, took the load down from Wisconsin to Texas, and then we parked at the truck stop, and it was right around New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Day or something when we got there, right? And so anyways, we went to Galveston for dinner, New Year's Eve, blah, blah. We picked up the car, and then she was driving back to Wisconsin by herself. My wife's she's a trooper when it comes to being very adventurous. And so anyways, we're sitting at the truck stop. Beautiful day, got the windows open. My wife is like laying in the back of the bunk. I'm sitting in the driver's side. And trucks is idling. We're just not idling. It's just sitting there. We're just kind of wasting time because we're going to dinner that night.
Okay.
And this chick comes walking up to the truck. Doesn't see my wife. We were dating at the time. And she says, "What? Would you want to buy some crackling? Some cracklings, I think it was." She said, "Would you like to buy some cracklings?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good, thank you." And she's like, "Would you like your cab cleaned?" And Sarah jumps out of the fucking bunk, and she's like, "No, bitch, he does not want his cab cleaned." Anyways, there's a lot of stuff that goes on out there. But anyways, we're here to pick up Mr. Clyde. Please like and subscribe. I knew my wife was not gonna like that story. She hates that story. Anyways, please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.